Alright, what's up guys? In today's video, we're going to talk about the TAC laser, and I'm going to be answering the question, how good is it actually in Warzone? I personally think this is one of the best attachments you are not using. It is one of the few attachments in this game that has zero negatives, obviously, besides your laser being visible. In today's video, we're talking about, well, what is actually aim walking steadiness, because I feel like this is still one of the most underrated stats in the game. Obviously, how your idle sway, your aiming stability is affected, and then how it is affected in your overall aim down sight time. Which guns are the best to receive that boost in aim down sight time? As you guys should know, the granulated grip tape is basically a mini version of the TAC laser. It does affect your strafe speed, but obviously doesn't affect your aim down sight time. So it's definitely an excellent attachment, just not as good as the TAC lasers. So the biggest factor for what is the most important for the reason people don't use the laser is it being visible to enemies. I'm gonna play a little video clip. The easiest for me way to figure this out, how easy it was to find, was by actually going into a split screen match on local play, and you guys can see the basis of how hard it is to see is up close when you're looking face to face with an enemy. It's within 35 meters. You'll be able to tell their aim down sight and aiming at you. That's the biggest factor for how it's affected. The laser is only visible when you are aimed down sight, which is definitely something that's pretty awesome. So if the enemy's in front of you and you don't see their laser, either they don't have a TAC laser or they're obviously not aiming down sight. So within 35 meters is where you'll be able to start to see that laser. The one biggest factor you guys will see in the video clips is it pings around a little bit. It's not like a direct shot. Only from the side is a direct shot. You guys can actually see the laser. So to me, the visibility of it is very, very low. A lot of people think it's very easy to see, and you know, it's pretty easy to spot. It actually is very, very hard. I'll showcase like some clips from when I'm tracking someone from the back with TAC laser, and then obviously from the side. So from the side, it's very, very close, like 10 to 15 meters max. As soon as you're outside that 15-meter range, you can no longer see their TAC laser, like I said, which only affects when you're aimed down sight. But like I said, I definitely think it's very, very underrated because the ability to see the laser is not that good. So most important factor to talk about is what is aim walking steadiness and how does it affect your accuracy and how does it affect your ability to win gunfights. So you guys will see the video clips on the screen of the granulated, we have the TAC laser, and then we have just the base weapon. With the base weapon, when you are strafing towards somebody, which I would say 90% of your fights, besides if you're mounted, is while you're strafing. Aim walking steadiness is how well your aim is going to stay focused on that player. So obviously if you're on a controller, it's a little bit better, obviously, with the aim assist, but with the aim walking steadiness, if you don't have the TAC laser, you guys can see the little video clip on the screen right now. It actually moves and it doesn't stay on the head. If you guys watch the video clip, it pulls to the right and it pulls to the left, so it goes left to right. And then you guys will see with the TAC laser right now, you guys can see it's extremely easy to maintain that neck to head area of actually being able to hold my aim on that guy's head. So that to me is one of the best factors for it. To me, it's better in close range because of the fact you're able to track that player. It helps a lot with the aim assist, especially on controller. For those that are on controller like me, I definitely think it's probably the most underrated stat about it is the fact that it helps basically with player tracking. It's definitely excellent at long range because I would say probably 99% of my fights I'm definitely tracking players by aiming down sight and strafing. I'm probably not using mounted, especially in Warzone. Again, it's very, very mobile. So I definitely think aim walking status is probably a very underrated stat. The next thing to take an in-depth look at is the aiming stability, and does that actually affect your recoil? So obviously you have recoil control, which is your vertical kick. You have stabilization, which is your side-to-side kick. Then you have aiming stability, which is your idle sway, aka your first shot accuracy. You guys will see on the screen the base weapon versus with the TAC laser. You guys can see it 100% is better. To me, idle sway is something I've really started going for, and I definitely have found myself improve my overall accuracy when I started attacking attachments that improve my idle sway. Then you guys will see right now on the screen the base weapon versus the TAC laser alone, then TAC laser with commando. With the commando and the ranger, my last video I uploaded, I said ranger was the new best grip to use. When you stack the TAC laser with the ranger or the commando, which also improves your idle sway, you guys can see it basically has none at all. And how that affects your recoil is I only tested on 3 weapons to see. On the M4 and the Bruin, your first few shots were purely vertical. A lot of guns like the M13, the Ram, a lot of these guns, even the Kilo, they pull up immediately and they'll pull left or they pull right. With the TAC laser, it's going to allow your first few shots to be purely vertical, which is actually going to make your recoil pattern a little bit better, a little bit easier to control, a little bit easier to hit your shots, which to me is an improvement to your recoil. Especially, I noticed it most on the M4, and you guys will see in here in just a second why I think the M4 is probably the best gun for the TAC laser. So your aim walking steadiness helps your player tracking, obviously helps your overall accuracy to be able to stay focused on the enemy. Same with the aiming stability, allows you to be able to focus on the enemy. So those two things together obviously helps your overall accuracy, and in my opinion gives you the best ability to down your players if you can hit every single shot. Those two things together to me is excellent. The next biggest factor is how it affects your aim down sight time. Obviously every single gun it affects differently. The biggest factor to know about how it affects your aim down sight is it is percentage based. So if you take a gun like an SMG has a 200 millisecond aim down sight time, on average you're going to get between like 15 and 20 milliseconds improvement. You switch up to those assault rifles, it's now going to go from 25 to 40 milliseconds improvement. Switch up those LMGs, it's going to go anywhere from like 50 all up to 70 milliseconds improvement. So the lower your aim down sight time, the better the improvement is. So when you take a look at those best class setups, when you stack the monolith suppressor, the extended mag, and the long barrel, which all three attachments lower your aim down sight time, you guys will be able to see on the screen, this is the website I use, truegamedata.com. We have the M4 built with those three attachments. You guys will be able to see the base M4 with the TAC laser. You guys can see the base M4. When I throw the TAC laser on there, it gives me a 38 millisecond faster aim down sight time, which is definitely an excellent improvement. Once I stack my best class setup on there with the monolith suppressor, the extended mag, and the long barrel, my aim down sight time obviously goes down by a lot. Once I put that TAC laser on that best class setup, it actually gives me 2 times better improvement, which is now 77 milliseconds faster aim down sight time, which is excellent. So it definitely counters those best class setups to help improve that aim down sight time. It improves your stability and your walking steadiness. So it has all positives, no negatives. I think it's probably the best attachment right now you're not using in the game. Majority of your Warzone fights are you shooting at players that don't see you, or you shooting at players from mid to long range and vehicles and that kind of stuff, where it helps improve your overall accuracy. So obviously you take a weapon like the sniper rifle that has obviously mainly long range only fights, the aiming stability is going to help increase your ability to track those players, and that walking steadiness will obviously help you able to track them. So I definitely think it's probably the best attachment to use on your snipers. The ADS improvement you get is almost 2 times better on snipers than every other gun in the game. As far as which are the best guns to use it on, the list is very short. Number 1 for the assault rifle is probably the best gun to use it on is actually the M4. Like I previously stated in the very beginning of the video, it gives the best improvement, the fastest aim down sight time on the M4. The Ram 7 is also excellent, and the Grau is also excellent. It gives the best percentage increase on those weapons. And then the CR56 AMAX also gives the best increase. So those force rifles is best. As far as the SMGs, the P90 and the Bison are in a class of their own on how well it improves them. Obviously on the LMGs it improves a lot of them excellently. The SA87 is actually the best improvement on. I definitely 100% recommend every SA87 class to use the TAC laser on. And then in second we have the M91 and the Holger. Obviously, like I said, the snipers, it improves your aim down sight time by like 100 milliseconds. The Rytec AMR is actually the best improvement out of every gun in the game. The HDR gets the biggest improvement on its overall aim down sight time, and obviously the X50 is still excellent. The Kar 98 is not as good because it does have a faster aim down sight time, but it's still pretty good. Obviously, with the guns being really good to use it on, there's a couple guns you completely should not be using it on, which you're probably going to be able to find better attachments. The FAL, the Kilo, the AN94, and the Fennec are 3 guns where it doesn't do that much, or it doesn't do as good as the other guns, so I don't really recommend it. The Fennec actually gave the least improvement on your aim down sight time out of every gun in the game, so 100% don't recommend it. The Striker 45 was also right there close with it, so the Striker 45 and the Fennec, don't recommend it on at all. The Kilo and the FAL, and like I said, the AN94 get the least improvement on their aim down sight time. So 3 guns you don't really want to be using it on. But Hopefully this video helps you guys out, makes you guys be able to build better class setups by trying to teach you guys about the unique attachments. I'm going to start making videos like this more often where we go in depth on attachments and talk about which ones they're best on. As far as that granulated grip tape, like I said, you guys know it definitely is an excellent attachment. It definitely is not as good as the TAC laser. If you're playing Warzone, I 100% recommend the TAC laser over the granulated. But if you're playing multiplayer, I definitely think the granulated is definitely the way to go. There's a lot more players in multiplayer. You're going to be fighting a lot more often. And that TAC laser might actually reveal your positions because you're in a lot more close range fights. But like I said, the biggest factor is it does affect your stray speed, which is not that big a factor. It's best for ARs and SMGs. The stray speed is very, very minimal. You probably won't even notice it, but it's definitely still an excellent attachment to use, but just not as good because it doesn't improve your aim down, sight time, and lowers your mobility. So the TAC laser for me is probably my best attachment. I personally love it on the GFUEL. The GFUEL is definitely a mid to long range weapon. I have 25,000 kills with, and I personally have switched to only using the TAC lasers on the GFUEL because with that aim walking steadiness helped my player tracking, and the first shot accuracy obviously helps my initial first few shots. Definitely has noticed and improved my ability to kill players at mid to long range, especially on the GFUEL. So like I said, I hope this video helps you guys out. If you did, make sure you guys leave a like. Comment down below if you guys are using the TAC laser, yes or no. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Use my discount code on all of your SCUF and GFUEL purchases. The best and only code to use is code Trapgod. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys want me to upload a video on the next attachment, comment down below what attachment you guys want to cover in depth on the next video. I'll talk to you guys in the next